Hello, I'm Thomas Laurie, and today I'll be doing a screencast thematic on a reflection of Paraguay and Boyle reading, writing, and learning in ESL for chapters 3 and 4. So the three things that I focused on in these chapters were the use of group work, scaffolding, and technology. So we'll begin with group work. The first thing that I thought was a good idea was using the buddy system. Just pairing students of different different capabilities, I thought was a great idea. That allows the student of the lesser capability to kind of be challenged to try to reach that higher capability that the other student is, and as well as teaches the other student to work with somebody of a lesser capability and be teaching them, which actually helps them and help them learn about what they're discussing. So I thought that's a great idea. And then you can also use different ways of buddy system, like for example, at PE, we can have them pair them up with people of similar languages. If there's like at my school, we have a lot of different languages that are spoken, so pair them up that way. So a bunch of different styles and ways that you can do it. But all in all, I think it's a good idea to pair students up and allow them to share with their the people that are around them, because they're the ones going through the same experience at the time. Next, I went into the writing response groups. I think it's good to share your writing with one another's. Just allows you to kind of develop your writing skills as well as communicate what your writing thoughts are. We won't do that too much in PE. I mean, we can share write down our goals and expectations, but that probably just do more just discussing them with peer assessment, things like that. But I think it's valuable in the classroom to have them be able to share that before they have to just turn it in, and it allows them to be more comfortable about their writing. And same thing that kind of goes into the literate response groups too. Very similar, just sharing their reading responses, what they're picking up in the reading, and then they can also ask their partners if they don't understand a word or phrases or things like that, what they're talking about, and then they can discuss it back and forth. I think it's also cooperative groups. You can do it into small groups and then create it into a bigger group, or really just kind of specifies the roles and responsibilities of each member in the group and gives the students a focus while still allowing them to discuss their ideas and talk with other students. So it's not so like just preaching at the students, which kind of goes into Jigsaw, which I'd never heard of before, but I found it as a great idea, and I wish more of my teachers would have done this in the classroom, which it just kind of is. Giving each student a responsibility and a role in a group, and then having them perform that or go do research into that, and then talking with the other students in other groups, which kind of promotes, talking to other countries and things like that, and then going back to their home group, which is their homeland or kind of sense, and then building from there, which I thought was a great idea. And so yeah, I think that's something that should be performed in classrooms, and you can do that with sports too as well, out on the field, like have them have different roles and responsibilities and do that as well. So I got a lot of ideas from that. Next, I went into scaffolding. So the definition was what a learner can do with assistance today, they can do alone tomorrow. It's just kind of teaching them and having the ability to allow students to grow. They talk about how routines are huge for English learners. So for like PE, we do make sure that they line up in their rows, and then we go into the locker room, get changed, and go out, go on our numbers, get stretched every single day, and then we go into kind of, while we're getting stretched, we go into what we're going to be doing for the day, our agenda. So just allowing that routine so that students feel comfortable, I think, is huge. Another thing that I picked up on was the depicting scaffold image that they had in the book. It's just a pyramid, a student independence pyramid, and it just shows like the different levels and how to take the steps to create student independence. So I thought that was a really good model, and I like images like that, so I found that helpful. And then they also talk about literacy scaffolds. They go into pretty good depth about those, which I don't necessarily won't be using too much with physical education, but we can also do journals and things like that, which are very helpful. And just reading and writing is huge. And then finally, which I'll talk about technology, which was a big topic. They talk about new literacies, and they talk about 4 basic assumptions of how these new literacies are positive and helpful. They help us develop different new skills, build global community. We have to allow for regularly change and be productive that way. And then they talk about how we have to, it allows for multiple points of view. So that was just talk kind of goes into the next point, which is the value of the internet. Those are 4 really good values of how you can use the internet. But there's also negatives that come with the internet, such as distractions and other negatives that come with it. Next thing, which is a positive that value that I found, was boundary crossing that they talk about. They use a really good bridge example, which my grandma played bridge growing up, so she had her own bridge community. So they discuss about how somebody in the United States can be playing bridge with somebody in a different country online and be competitive and do things like that. And so we can build community that way. And I would thought for PE, I'll be able to talk to people in like England about cricket, or Australia and about rugby and different sports and things like that, and be able to get different ideas and teach the students about culturally different sports as well through PE. So I thought that was a good idea. Next, they talk about Web 1 and Web 2. Web 1 is really just how to use the web, teaching students how to use the search engines to find the proper information that they're looking for, and kind of how to narrow it down the best ways. And then Web 2 is just the interaction and collaboration, which we talked about with like boundary crossing is a good example. Next, blog uses. I think that can be a good way to kind of allow students to share their thoughts and ideas, as well as kind of, they can also look into podcast videos and social networking. These are also new technologies that continue to develop and grow. And I think they have a lot of positives, but also some negatives that come with them too. Like there's a lot of distractions that come with the podcasts and videos, and especially social media or social networking. But also it allows us to kind of share our different ideas and allows different people to have voices. So I think there's positives that come with it. But ultimately and overall, I think group work and collaboration is a good use of the schools, and we need to be implementing more strategies to allow for more group work. And then the group work just is pretty much allowing for more scaffolds, and then these new technologies we should be able to use and to give students different roles in their groups and things like that. Overall, thank you guys for listening and have a great day.